What is the average property management fee for rental properties? Everybody wants to know, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Hey there, my name is Mike Fritz. I'm the founder of Titanium Capital Investments and the founder of the Multifamily CEO System. My greatest passion is helping investors just like you build financial freedom through multifamily real estate. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what fees you can expect from your property managers when they're managing your rental properties. Hiring the right property manager will be the best thing you ever do in your real estate business. But hiring the wrong one will absolutely torpedo your success. In fact, stick around to the end and I'm going to walk you through the worst mistake I ever made in real estate that cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. So the first thing you need to know in the fees that property managers charge their owners or their landlords is not all fees are created equal. For example, you might call up a property management company and they might say, our fee for managing your properties is 10%. But that 10% covers almost everything and they have no extra fees. Or you might call up a property management company that says, I charge 7%. But then they have many other fees that actually ends up equaling even 12, 13, 14% in management. The truth of the matter is, not all fees are created equal. And you have to know how to decipher what managers usually charge, what's industry standard, and what you should expect. So some will charge 10% for their management fee, but they'll charge $150 an hour for their repair team. So if one of your furnace breaks down and they send somebody out to fix it, it'll charge you $150. Others might charge you 7%, but they only charge $75 an hour for their repair team. The truth of the matter is, every property management company is different, and you want to get a list of their fees before you sign a contract to have them manage your property. Here's a couple fees that managers charge that you can be expecting. Number one, they charge the flat management fee, and that's all over the board depending on your manager. And then they will charge a maintenance fee. If they go out to fix something, they will usually charge you a per hour rate to fix anything on the property. And then they'll charge you a leasing fee. If it's a brand new lease, they'll charge you a certain amount of money to put a brand new tenant in a property. If it's a lease renewal, if the tenant's going to stay at the property, but they need to renew the lease, they'll charge you a fee to renew the lease. Managers usually have an eviction fee charging you every time they need to walk through the eviction process with one of your tenants. The second thing you need to know when you're hiring a property manager is you can plan on 4 to 10% for their flat management fee. Now, 4 to 10% is a huge range. Here's what dictates that. It's the number of units. If they have a 100-unit apartment building and it's all in one place, they're going to be much closer to 4%. If it's spread all over town and there's 2 single-family homes, they're going to be to 10% and maybe even a little higher because it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. You have to think if it's at $800 a month in rent, they're only getting $80 at 10%. So they need to make sure they can grow that and scale their business and actually remain profitable and sustainable. This being said, the more units you have, the more negotiating power with your management team you do have. My management team charges me 8% plus some fees in one of the cities I own property in. I just purchased another property and I came to my management company and said, this is how much I have for management. That's all I have. Can you do it? They said, of course, because it's part of a much larger portfolio. Now, I kind of name my management price with them, and I'm always fair because I want my managers to make as much money as possible because they take really good care of me and my property. So understanding, getting a lower ranged fee is not always a good thing. The higher managers charge, sometimes it means their company's a bit more legit. So you can expect a 4 to 10% range for your management fee, but understand when they give you that range, make sure you ask all the question of what other fees are involved so you can prepare for those fees in your underwriting. Before I go on to that next tip, what are you paying for your management fees? Throw it in the comments. If you have a property manager, what are you paying for your management fees? Or if you'd like to hire a property manager in a certain area, what should you be expecting? Throw that question in the comments below and I'd love to interact with you and hear what you're doing in real estate. The next tip for management is I personally seek to be in the 8 to 10% range for everything. That means 8% for collecting of rent, making sure that rents get paid on time, all of the reporting, all of the evictions, the repairs, everything that's involved in managing the property, I want to land in that 8 to 10% range. I still want my property manager to make as much money as possible because the more money they make, the more attention they give my properties and the better job they do. But I really focus on that 8 to 10% range for everything a management company does. And this really helps me remain profitable over time. Because you have to remember how much goes into property management. I actually think inside of real estate, property management is the hardest job that anybody has. They have to collect rent. If a renter doesn't pay, they have to track that renter down. If it's a Section 8 tenant and the Section 8 pays half and then the tenant pays half and the tenant isn't paying their half, they have to go after that person. If an eviction needs to happen, they need to communicate with the attorney, communicate with the court systems, and they need to process an eviction. If a property needs maintained, they need to send repair people out to fix the issues. A couple months ago, I had a tree fall on and completely obliterate my garage. Like the garage is no more. My property manager took that call, communicated with the insurance agent, communicated with the homeowner, communicated with the person cutting up the tree and removing it, communicated with the repair person that was going to come and build a new garage, and put all of that together. My manager did all of it. And because of that, it's a really hard job. There's a lot of details in place. And they need to have a really good reporting system so that we can have good tax information to see what money went in and what money went out. With all of this being said, you can understand why those fees are a little bit higher in some cases than others, because they need to make sure they can truly be sustainable and grow as a company. The next tip you want to know when hiring a property manager and the fees they charge is you want to make sure you know everything. When you sit down with a property manager, I want you to ask, what's your management fee? And then I want you to ask, how much do you charge for your repair people to go fix things? And then I want you to ask, how much do you charge to turn a unit over? How much do you charge to renew a lease? And how much do you charge to generate a new lease? And then I want you to ask, how much do you charge for construction management? What if a roof needs to be replaced and they need to manage that whole process of getting that roof replaced and ordering materials and everything that goes into that? Do they charge a management fee to oversee that entire process? I want to make sure you're prepared with every fee they charge so that you don't get blindsided at the end of a month with a big hit of a fee that you weren't planning on. But if you want to get your property manager's fee down, you want to take your unit count up. This is why I love to go into a city, build a team, and stay there for a while. As I buy my first property in a city, I like to put a property management team in place, and then I like to buy more and more properties and leverage that same property manager and even the lender and the broker inside that city. The reason that I do that is because all of my fees start to get better, meaning the real estate broker that charges a 5% fee, the more I buy from him, it tends to go down to 4%. My property manager who is charging 10% tends to go closer to 8 or 7%. The truth of the matter is, the more units you get, the smaller those fees get. And if you go in and already build that team inside of a city, you might as well buy deals over and over and over again. The biggest mistake I ever made in real estate was hiring the wrong property manager. So I bought a portfolio, a bigger portfolio in one city, and I called up, I did a Google search, surfaced 4 or 5 different property managers, and I called up 4 or 5, and 3 of them didn't call me back, 1 did. That one that called me back, I ended up hiring. It was the biggest mistake of my life. So this property manager gets on the phone with me. I talk with her. She seemed very knowledgeable. She showed me her resume. She's gotten all kinds of certifications in the property management world. She was a real estate agent and broker, and everything seemed to check out. There was one thing I forgot to ask her. Do you live where my properties exist? Yeah, I didn't think I had to ask that either. But the truth of the matter is, she lived in Florida. My properties were in Indiana. She never saw them. And the truth is, what that did for me is it created, her team was doing all this work on my properties, and they did a horrible job. One property to get fixed up cost me over $10,000, and then when I put it finally under a new management company, they had to go back and redo everything. So it cost me another $10,000. It cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, and by the time I finally ripped the properties away from this manager, she was holding about $15,000 of my money hostage and wouldn't let it go. And that was after costing me tons of money in repair costs. So when I tell you what does a property manager cost, it can cost you everything if you don't hire the right one. Make sure when you are hiring a property manager, you meet with them personally and physically. Either a Zoom call or you ask them where they live. Make sure they are engaged in the community of the properties you own, because that will change how you buy properties and it'll change the quality of management you actually get. I want to give you a free gift for tuning in today. If you click the link below, you'll be taken to our multifamily masterclass. This is the training that changed my life when I learned the content. It's 5 things you can do to get your first or next piece of multifamily real estate in as little as 71 days. Click that link and go to the training, and I'll see you there.